Welcome to the final episode of Faith at Work, Kingdom Impact in Professional Life. Tonight we explore the creative edge, faith in the arts and media, an inspiring look at how leaders in creative industries are using their God-given talents to transform culture and inspire change. In this episode, we shine a light on individuals whose work in arts, media, and creative entrepreneurship is not only shaping industries, but redefining what it means to integrate faith with innovation. Let's meet our inspiring guests, Vince "V. McDonald, Vanessa Taylor, and Andrea Johnson.
Senior Pastors Dr. Dave and Angela Burrows, Fellowship Pastors Kirsch and Suzette Darville invite you to join us at Bahamas Faith Ministries International in beautiful Nassau, Bahamas every Sunday at 10 a.m. for our weekly Kingdom Celebration worship experience. Join us at the Embassy for our weekly briefing, transformational teachings designed to uplift and empower your life, dynamic praise and worship led by Crown Worship, and so much more. Bahamas Faith Ministries is a multi-generational church with multi-generational leaders. We exist to transform followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. And we have a place here for everyone, children, youth, and adults. So join us on Sundays at 10 a.m. online or at our Carmichael Road campus. We promise you, your life will never be the same.
First, we introduce you to Vince "V. McDonald, CEO at Encore Media Group Limited and Worship Arts Director at BFM. Vince leads with passion, blending media expertise with creative ministry to create experiences that uplift and engage communities.
So I wear many hats, and not only am I the worship arts director at Bahamas Faith Ministries, I also have the amazing privilege of serving as the managing director and CEO of Encore Media Group, which is a multifaceted production company where we focus on entertainment services, production services, and as well as media services. So we cover a wide variety of the landscape when it comes to entertainment, through our products like the Elevation Awards, TV shows like The Rush, the Bahamas Gospel Music Awards, and then of course, technical services, the typical video production, audio, lighting, that type of stuff. The advice that I would give to anybody that is interested in coming along on this ride of production, entertainment, media, music, is really to let you know that, hey, listen, the Bahamas is not your playground, the world is. The world is your playground. The world is waiting to see you and what you have to offer. So many great people in entertainment have crossed and many bounds and leaps in the area of entertainment and creative in the Bahamas, around the world. And so for anyone out there, man, first of all, it starts with you believing in you. Me going outside and playing with having concerts to my sister's dolls and stuffed animals, wasn't for anyone else validation, but to really help to encourage and motivate me that I could do it. So that was my playground, and we started to elevate and elevate and elevate and elevate. And so you're gonna be your biggest critic. You're gonna be your number one fan. You're gonna be your number one validation tool. And so for anyone out there, it first starts with you. It first starts with your mind. It first starts with you believing in what it is that you believe that you're gifted and talented in. I think, my heart's desire, the love for God is foundational for me, despite what persons may think or see in terms of what I do on a production level. God will always be my firm foundation. That's what I build my life on. And for everyone out there, especially those persons that are passionate about production and music and entertainment, but also passionate about God, you can do that and you can leverage that. You can engage culture, you can bridge the gap, right? And so for everyone out there that are watching, that are listening, that say, man, I want to do X, Y, Z, ABC, 1, 2, 3, but I don't know if it's going to be accepted. That but is going to cost you. And so for everyone out there, for me, I want to see more young people, I want to see more believers coming out and pushing the envelope. I want to see more believers out there being more creative in bridging leaps and in taking this entertainment and production and media to the next level, but doing it unashamed, right? That doesn't mean that everything that you say have to have God, 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 Jesus, 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 Jesus. What that means is that you have to be true of who you are and know who you are and put your best foot forward in delivering the best quality production that you could produce. Understanding that your source, the source of your strength and the source of your creativity and the source of your geniuses comes from God above. Hi family, I'm Vincent McDonald and I have the amazing privilege of serving as the Worship Arts Director here at Bahamas Faith Ministries and the CEO of Encore Media Group Limited, and this is Faith at Work.
Next is Vanessa Taylor, the CEO at Taylor's Enterprises. Vanessa is a visionary in the creative industry, driving innovation and excellence while upholding kingdom values in every business endeavor.
I got started into business in 2015 is when I full-time came into working for myself. I loved computers growing up, and I had a computer teacher that birthed my love for computers. And she helped me understand every part of how the computer works. So I started out building computers and getting into the aspect of what internet marketing is, getting into web development, and it just birthed a spark inside of me where I was like, hey, I can make this into a business. And so Taylor's Enterprise was birthed from there. So on a day-to-day basis, I'm responsible for several clients' websites maintenance. So first thing would be waking up in the morning, of course, doing my devotional, getting myself ready to start the day, and checking each and every one of my clients' websites to make sure they're up and running and functioning. Then I would go into editing the websites, making sure that all of the plugins on the website and the themes are up to date, and making sure that every part of the website is functioning, because our company strives on functionality of websites more than the style of the website. Because if a website is not functioning, then it's hard for our clients' customers to even navigate it. So that's one of the things that we focus mostly on. One of the things I wish I knew when I first was starting out is my ability for customer service. I grew up as a passive young lady, so the aggressiveness that you need in business, I didn't think I had until I started pursuing and going full-time in my business. And that's one of the things that kind of shocked me, the fact that I'm able to lead persons in business on stuff that they don't know. Because as a young person, a lot of older persons kind of look down on you and think you don't know as much as them until I met certain clients of mine. I'm like, wow, you're asking me for advice on how to grow your business? Like that's one of the things I wish I knew back in the day. And I think my business would be further on if I knew that. Hi, my name is Vanessa Taylor. I'm co-president of Taylor's Enterprise along with my husband, Keno Taylor, and this is Faith at Work.
And finally, we have Andrea Johnson, the founder and lead instructor at Abba Marie's Fine Arts Studio. Andrea's dedication to art education nurtures talent and encourages young creatives to express their faith through artistic expression.
Well, originally, I was prophesied to some 18 years ago. I'd visited a church with my friend at the time, and her pastor said she had seen me working in this big space, open space actually, with these girls just dancing around me and twirling. Years later, I was actually offered a job in a new dance studio here, working with Kim Kiki Varakis. And working with Kim really prepared me for where I'm at today, to be honest, because I was afforded the opportunity to not only teach and create choreography, but I learned a lot about staging. I learned all the ins and outs about backstage and all of the components, I guess, that go with having a production. So that was training ground for me. And then after that, a few years later, I was approached by my principal at a local Catholic school here. And she approached me about starting a dance club. And I said to her, at first I was busy, but she didn't stop until I actually agreed. And the club grew so rapidly that we eventually had to move and have classes somewhere else. And that was the beginning of the business. To be perfectly honest, I did not originally, or I didn't even intend to pursue this line of work. While I knew I would work with children, I never thought it would be in the area of dance because I have some limitations as a dance teacher. My leg was broken in 3 places and I was no longer able to do some of the things that I did before. So I had no idea I would be teaching dance. But as time went on, it's as if it fell in my lap. Or in other words, as I began to seek first the kingdom of God, these things just started to follow me. It was like I was just constantly just moving into purpose, until I fully landed in exactly what it was that I was supposed to be doing. So I didn't originally pursue it, but once I got in, I decided that I would have a standard of excellence. And that was when I got into making sure we train technically. There are many things I love about teaching dance. One of the things I love about dance is being able to impart knowledge into my students and then seeing the growth over the years. When a student comes in at the age of 4 or 5 and years later they're now in college, I feel so proud to say that I had some part in this child's life. Hi, I'm Andrea Johnson, the Artistic Director at AMFA Studio, and this is Faith at Work.
Hi, this is Pastor David Nose, thanking you on behalf of our senior pastors, Dave and Angela Burrows, and our fellowship pastors, Kirsch and Suzette Darvel, and our pastoral team for your ongoing financial support to Bahamas Faith Ministries International. We are focused and we will remain diligent by obeying the commission given by Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior and King, to his disciples when he was leaving earth. He said to them, "Therefore, go and make disciples to all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost." So here are 4 ways in which you could continue to help us in this mission. Number 1, go to our website at www.bfmionline.com and go to the Give button. Number 2, in the seed box at the Miles E. Monroe Diplomat Center in Nassau, Bahamas, the place where God lives. Number 3, by credit card in person at the Miles E. Monroe Diplomat Center. Number 4, by direct deposit. Our bank is the Bank of the Bahamas. Our account is in the name of Bahamas Faith Ministries. Our account number is 135-00-00886. Our branch is the Shirley Street branch, and our branch number is 03157, so that we can properly allocate your giving to the proper designated area, such as tithes, or maybe offering, or maybe storehouse, or any other special purpose. Please send us an email to bfmigive@gmail.com. So let us love, let us go, and give to take over the world for the kingdom of heaven. Know that you are blessed in Jesus' name.
All right, now that we've had a chance to hear our guests' inspiring journeys and see a glimpse of their passion, let's dive into the heart of our conversation.
All right, thank you so much, Janelle. And as Janelle said, joining me here on the set is Mrs. Vanessa Taylor and Miss Andrea Johnson. Ladies, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so great to have you guys here. And so today we're talking about faith at work, and we're talking about media and creative arts. And these are two ladies here today. They have been entrepreneurs in their respective rights in the area of creative arts for Andrea, and of course media and marketing and the whole creative works with Vanessa. And so Vanessa, as you would have seen in our spotlight, is the CEO, one half of the dynamic duo of the CEO of Taylor's Enterprises. And then of course Andrea, Abba Maria's Fine Art Studios. I got that right. There you go. So, ladies, we're going to jump right into today's conversation. And my first question to you, Vanessa, is tell us a little bit about the vision and the heart behind Taylor's Enterprises. I know it's something that you and your husband bought and birthed together, but tell us a little bit, take us a little deeper into the heart and the passion for what you do.
Well, Taylor's Enterprise was derived off of my love for computers. I'm very much into technology and IT. I started out building computers for my husband and I. Basically, I built his first flight simulator back in the day, and I just loved it. A computer teacher of mine in primary school kind of saw the gifting in me, and she developed my love for it more. And so off of that, I wanted to be a computer teacher until I saw the generation. Then that switched to where I was like, you know what? After listening to all of the leadership teachings of Bahamas Faith Ministries, it kind of burst, hey, I could start my own business. And then when I got married, my husband is very good on the leadership aspect, whereas he is great at pushing me to do stuff. So he's like, you know, you could do this on your own, right? And so I kind of took a leap of faith after Dr. Monroe passed and went full-time into business.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So you have a real testimony of faith at work.
Yes.
Like you have definitely went full-fledged into it, and you've been going ever since.
Yes.
And you're, what, 11 years in now? 10, 11 years or so, somewhere around there?
Maybe
Cool.
more,
Maybe
from
more.
2015.
Oh, wow. There you go. There you go. There you go. Now, Drea, to you now, what you do is very unique and very creative, right? You're in the area of creative arts. You have a dance studio, well, a fine art studio, right?
Correct.
You have also been a testament and a result of the teachings here at Bahamas Faith Ministries. Share a little bit about, especially in the fine arts ministry and being a part of what we do here at Bahamas Faith Ministries, share a little bit about your journey to Abba Maria's Fine Art Studio.
Okay, wow. So initially, AMFA Studio was not a studio. We got started as a club in the Catholic school about 14 years ago. My principal at the time, she knew that I was actually taking ballet exams, and she approached me and she said, you know, I'd like you to start a dance club here. So we got started with about maybe 3 children, and after every production or every spring production at the school, I just found parents would come and say, listen, I want my child to be a part of this, and it just kept growing. We used to practice first in the classroom. At the time, I taught first grade. So we were practicing in the classroom, and then we ran out of space. So we would practice in the front of the talk shop area, and then we ran out of space. At the time, the nun who passed, Sister Cecilia, she allowed us to practice on the porch of the Catholic Church, St. Joseph, actually on Boyd Road. So that's really where we started, on the outside. And a parent at the time, she approached me about renting a space and making or drafting a proposal for the YWCA, and that was, of course, our first studio. So that's kind of the journey there. And of course, sitting under the teaching of Dr. Monroe all of these years, I was motivated to just move with it, start. I realized it was more than just dance, it was ministry. And that brought us to today.
And so for you, Drea, when as you moved forward, how many years has that been so far?
It's been about 14 years.
14 years that you've been able to propel, and now you. First of all, the stories are very unique and interesting because you wanted to be a teacher, right? And then that dream got crushed, right?
Right.
And then you are a teacher, right?
Correct.
You're studying,
Yes.
but both of you seemingly very similar, based on the stories that we're hearing today, were inspired by your teacher, right? We're inspired. You're a computer teacher in school,
Yeah.
and then of course you getting an opportunity to be around the environment that you were around and being fulfilled. Both of you, just to answer right quick, how important is that? Because it's very evident that both of you started this at a very young, developed your passion and your love for what you do very young. How important for you, Vanessa, and for Andrea, once Vanessa's done, how important is being around the environment, the necessary environment that is going to help fuel you to fulfill your dreams and what it is that you want to do? How important was that for you?
It's very important because it actually taught me about work ethic, first and foremost. It also taught me about leadership, customer service, and how to perfect your craft. And you're always constantly learning. Nothing is ever staying the same. The world has evolved so much since I began. And the technology age that we're in, as we saw through COVID, it is very much in demand. So it heightened everything that I did more so, where I'm now to the point where I want to learn a lot of like how AI works to keep relevant in this new technology age, because as we see, AI is taking over. It's even to the point where it can take over our jobs.
Yeah. Yep.
So
It
if
can
we
come
don't
for your paycheck.
right, so if you don't stay relevant, then you can get lost. So
Wow. Okay. Drea, what about you? How important was that coming up for you and that foundation?
If I want to be honest, when I began, I didn't know that I would be here, of course. But as I think back, all along the journey, it was as if God was giving me pieces to a puzzle. Yeah. I was around children, I was around the parents, and I needed to know how the children think. I needed to know how adolescents think. I needed to know how parents think, as well as how they behave when things don't go well. So I had already learned how to deal with children. I'd already learned how to deal with parents in good and bad situations. Right. So when it came down to me having my own business, there were certain things I was careful about, especially dealing with parents, how to talk to them, what do you say, what you don't say, and vice versa, because I was already in that environment. So I was well versed on what I should do and should not do. So all along I was being prepared for this.
Now, did any of you know that that you would be to where you at now? Drea, I've had an opportunity to attend some of your events, one of your recent productions over the Christmas, and completely blown away. Vanessa, I get to stand on the sidelines. We work closely together, and I see the countless amount of projects and clients that you work with on a day-to-day basis. In taking that leap of faith and seeing your faith at work, did you even in your wildest dreams imagine that you would be in the position that you're in, being able to have a successful dance studio, encouraging and uplifting and empowering so many young ladies, and you being able to see your clientele grow vastly over the years?
Not at all. Not a clue, especially because with my life and my history, so I'm originally from Grand Bahama, and in it's late 1999, 98, I had gotten knocked down, and my foot was actually broken in 3 places. So I was told by the orthopedic surgeon that I would walk with a limp. So there was nowhere in the world I would think that I'd be teaching dance. And of course, grateful to God that I'm not walking with a limp. But I had no idea. Now, I started at Lewis Seiler as a little girl, ballet school in Grand Bahama, but I didn't continue. And coming into the ministry here after taking up membership in 2006, we were urged to get involved in some ministry, and I was like, only thing that I kind of do is dance, but I've never done church dance, I called it back then. So I was very unfamiliar at the time with ministry and what they do in dance here. So definitely not. I had even some days, and like you said, even at the shows, sometimes I'm in awe that, God, you did this. You know, I'm so humbled by the fact that you would choose me despite everything along the way. It didn't seem as if I would be the one for this. But, you know, he had a greater plan, and I see it every day. So absolutely not. Not at all. If I told you what my first job was, this definitely wasn't. Well, I was actually a dental assistant. And the dentist I worked for at the time wanted me to be a dentist. So this definitely wasn't it.
You turn on that good money to do what you love. Like you turn on being a potential doctor to dance.
Well, the thing about it is I never really loved science anyways. I liked writing, which I do as well. So I liked writing, but I didn't see me going into science. So. No, but I didn't see this either, so no, I had no clue.
Nessa, how do you deal with, you know, we live in a environment and a world where technology is forever changing, right? How does Taylor's Enterprises, under your leadership, you and your husband's leadership, how do you remain on the cutting edge and continue on the path of being able to relevant services to your clients and keeping ahead of the curve?
So for us, we constantly stay learning, and I'm very much into YouTube and watching other persons within my field and even beyond my field do different stuff. So I do a lot of podcasts watching. I also do a lot of tutorials and learning. And so just watching how the industry is moving and the way that persons are navigating this internet world when it comes to marketing, how vast it is via social media, via TikTok, may it be apps, may it be responsive mobile websites that is out now, even 3D websites that are now coming on stream. Just seeing how everything is cohesively working together and trying to understand how everything simultaneously supports each other in different ways. So for us, we continuously look at courses that we can take. We also look at different avenues of just trying to stay ahead of the game to say, okay, what are they talking about in the internet fair now? What is the next technology stuff coming out that they're beta testing right now? So those are the stuff that we've basically been doing. We have it set where we always put one day as a day of just learning, and the rest of the work week we'll schedule clients and different projects that we have to work on. But we always set a time where we grow our business, either financially, where it is investing in different avenues of making the business strive better, or in avenues where we're constantly learning and teaching different things to persons. Because I find that within my business, I'm now teaching my clients different aspects on the importance of having a website and the way e-commerce and everything simultaneously works together. And even training them on managing their back end, which is something a lot of web persons won't really do because they just want that capital. But I find that because of that niche within our business, a lot of persons come back. They find appreciation for it.
Because they will always be calling you, okay, so if you're willing to not gatekeep, right? It's like whenever I come across a stumbling block, you're the first person that they're going to call, right?
Correct.
Versus you gatekeeping, and then they go in to go find someone else who can do it for them cheaper because you always charging every time they call you, right?
Exactly.
So that is very smart, very, 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 very unique. Now, you've been doing a lot of we, right? So in we, right? Tell me, how has it really been working? And this is where you give me a tips because I just get married. So this is where. So how is it really? Really, no cap. Your husband in the room now, right? You're partnering in the studio. But really and truly, how has it been working along with your husband in growing this thing? How has the journey been? How do you deal with the different views, the human aspect of working together? How do you work through those dynamics?
It's very simple because once you understand each other's strengths, like for me, I'm the creative end of the business. He's the accountant end of the business because he's good with finances. So once we understand each other's role in it, I joke sometimes to be like, I'm your boss, right? But, it's just a friendship thing that we have. So I think for us, because we were friends before we became husband and wife, it helps the business cohesively work together seamlessly, because if there's a client that owes on an invoice or whatnot, I don't have to be the bad guy. I could send them to my husband, and I can just create and be free to just learn and create.
Right, good cop, bad cop. I got you. Okay. So now that's the receiving of the funds, right? Now how you convince them when you got to spend the funds? Like you just gotta.
So it's.
And you got to buy the new computer, the new gear, the new software.
So with my husband is very strategic when it comes to why are we spending this? What is the long-time goal in using this equipment? Is it going to be a one-time use? Is it going to be a lifetime use? Is it going to be catching dust on the side? I have to come with those reports.
So y'all each other's boss, but in your respective lanes.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Just like marriage.
Makes sense. Right. All right. Okay. I got you. Taking notes. All right. So, Drea, now I getting ready to cross some controversial lanes, right? We're talking about faith at work, right? Yeah, you could chill now. We break the ice now. We could chill. Take a deep breath. All right. Now, a lot of times, and both of you could attest to this, that creatives and the way that we think can be very well be misunderstood, right?
Correct.
Many of us, everyone here, we serve in some capacity from a ministry standpoint. We get to encounter, for the lack of a better term, church people, right? And church thinking, right?
Correct.
And that comes from environment, right? But with our level of influence outside of these four walls, right? We have an opportunity to impact, to connect, to develop different groups of people in different spaces, right? Drea, as a creative and someone that has the responsibility of training and developing young people, right, through the area of the arts, not every piece that your students are going to do is going to have hand clapping, feet stomping, jumping around, worship, praising Jesus, right? I being in the production field that I am in, we get to do just a whole bunch of different productions from all corners, all four facets, right? You're providing a service to a client, you're creating platforms, and so it takes you in the lane, but of course you know what your foundation is, right? You know what your morals and your standards are. In producing pieces and being creative and not stagnating your creative flow, how do you determine how your approach to creative pieces that may not be quote unquote Jesus-y, that may not be quote unquote church? How do you determine what you do, how you do it? Because I've been to your productions and you got Jesus in it, but it ain't Jesus from A to Z, right?
That's correct.
It's Jesus at A and it gets you at F and then you go, what I mean? And so, but it ain't secular either, right? So explain that. How do you set those boundaries and how do you create the level of productions that you do without that gray area of compromise to the extent where people questioning your faith?
Okay. A couple of things. One, there are certain things that I just can't compromise with. And my dance parents know that, the students know that. And then out of relationship with Christ, the Holy Spirit would normally give me like, maybe not. Or sometimes having older students, they will bring music to me and I have to listen to it. I'm like, can you send me the lyrics? Or sometimes I'm listening, like asking, what's the message here? Trying to strike the balance. And it's funny because sometimes we travel, actually every summer for training in New York. And again, we're in classes where, it's not always quote unquote hand clapping, that type of music. But there are some things I do say no to. And it's like I say, out of relationship. Some things, you know, sometimes I may dream about it, like the Holy Spirit is saying, no, this one isn't going to work. And I have to say that sometimes. I have to say to the girls, we won't be able to use this. Sometimes I'll explain, and sometimes I just say we're not using it. And, you know, I thank God they respect me enough to say, well, okay, if she's saying that, she must know. And, of course, I have a mixture of children. I have children who are churched. The majority of my students are not churched. A lot of them coming out of a Catholic background as well. So it's important that I am careful what I select, what I do, what I say. I really have to not just say, but do exactly what I'm teaching. That's important. And because of that, they know that if Ms. Johnson says something, they believe that, they trust that I'm going to tell the truth. So my relationship with God is the most important thing, and they know that. So if I say no to something, or like I said, if I hear a piece of music and I'm like, I don't like the message here, there's no question, there's no compromise, because parents know when you sign your child up here, AMFA Studio means Abba Marie's Fine Art Studios, and we have a saying that I've coined, God is the source of it all. So when people ask them, what does that mean? They say, oh, my teacher says Abba is from, you know, it means God, he's the source of it all. So that is the foundation of our school, and this is what I believe. So if you're not a believer, or if you're not interested in your child being a part of this type of environment, then you know this is not the place. But even persons that approach me, they already know, okay, but she's a believer, or, you know, she's a kingdom citizen. So there are some things she's not going to compromise with. So it's striking the balance. Yes, not all of the songs are gospel. But if it's a song that is secular, I have to know what those words are, what is the message, so that there's no question about where I stand as a believer.
Gotcha, gotcha. Nessa, now, I've been able to be in different spaces with Nessa, and Nessa know how to pray. She loved the Lord. You know, she know how to rebuke. You know, she know how to correct. She know how to hold people accountable. You know, so I get to see it. Now, how do you deal with those difficult people? You know, if you're anything like me, and if you have to encounter the type of people that I encounter on a regular basis with clients, right, and especially those that especially when you're creative, right, and them set who don't know what they want, but they think they know what they want, but they really don't know what they want, and they trying to talk to you like they really know what they want, but both of us know that they don't know what they want.
Right.
Like, how do you deal? How do you maintain your standards in bringing people along to a grander vision, maintaining standard and quality and not compromising your work? How do you bring your clients along and deal with those difficult situations as not compromising your faith? And I mean, you may say something in your head to them, but don't let it come out your mouth. But how do you navigate, Ness, through those difficult patches with your clients?
So what I've done is I've kind of created a system. So once we get a client, we set up a consultation with them. So in the consultation, I have them to email me a list of reference, say we're doing a website for someone, a list of reference sites that they've seen that they like. And this is after we've already understand what their business is and where their head is at. Then once we get that, we put a proposal together for them. Then we do a meeting with them to find out, do you even understand what we're proposing? Because, you know, certain terms persons don't really understand.
Right.
And then you get to the point where as you're developing a website, you notice, okay, I don't think they got from the initial meeting what we were talking about. They act like they did, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So that's where the grace and the faith and the woosah moments come in. But I've learned that that's why our business slogan is, we're designing your dream, not our dream. So that's already a disclaimer within itself.
So what you get is what you was dreaming.
Correct.
What you get is really you.
Right. I can only give you tips on how it works. But if you see a vision for your business, I can't go behind you and say, no, this is your business. You see what I'm saying? Because you already told me this is what you want to do. So if I create a website, I always, for some reason, God always navigates me through the missing pieces to create it. So once they visually see it, they're more inclined to understand what was said. And that's how I've been able to navigate those spaces where you have to take that woosah moment, just using the creative talent to correct the missing links within like rough conversational stuff that might happen during the negotiation or the creativity of it.
Right.
Because people nowadays, they don't read. They more so want to see everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how I've been able to navigate those spaces. And God has been just
Seeing is believing, not reading.
Yes.
Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. So based on you saying that, I also want to kind of turn the page a bit, right? One of the things, and only because we work together, especially on the BFM side, you have developed, and for those who don't know, Taylor's Enterprises is behind everything that you see on our digital platforms, our websites, our social media, all courtesy of the Taylors, right?
shameless plug.
The Taylor's Club, right? And I'm an extension of Taylor's Club. I just an adopted child, right? But I'm the adopted brother. That's what you call it, right? But you have also over the years, and I don't know if it's because of your foundation and the release that you got through teachings from Dr. Miles and being in these certain spaces, right? But you have also developed a love or a heart to see churches, not just Bahamas Faith Ministries, but churches at large improve their in the digital space. Talk a little bit about your passion and your heart, be wanting to see other churches and just churches in general thrive in digital media and website development and delivering their message, whatever that is, through those means.
So in this day and age, we have a lot of secular stuff happening on social media that a lot of our young people are seeing, wanting to be a part of. And I feel as if the kingdom message is not getting out there enough, or persons are not understanding who God is.
Right.
You know, they think God is boring. They think faith is boring. They feel as if you're too holy than thou because you go to church or whatnot. But like a lot of persons see when they first come into these doors, like, we have fun.
Yep.
And for us as a creative, when we do websites for different churches or even consultations with churches, we are creating an atmosphere where persons get to know God on a deeper level of just what they've heard in passing, for persons who say they're Christians but are not. You know, false prophets.
Yeah.
So for us, we create an environment whereas our websites are not traditional church websites per se. You know, we do more on the marketing of creating an atmosphere for persons to learn who God is in the space of, hey, if you, these are the events that you can be a part of. These are just to get them in the door. And once they're in the door, they can see exactly, hey, you can serve in these different areas. Like, for instance, in the back end media, we basically have a ministry that a lot of persons in the main sanctuary don't understand. But these young people are being fed on a level that if they come into the main church, they'll get lost in. So for us, as a company, we've developed basically a structure where churches are now being seen on a deeper level than, okay, I go to church, I sit down, I be bored, and whatnot. So that's why live streaming is a part of our platform as well. You don't have a lot of digital media agencies or creative agencies including live streaming inside of their platform, but live streaming is an internet marketing platform within itself, and a lot of persons don't understand that. So the way that churches now live stream, we have consultations on that as well. because it's not just the pastor coming up and talking. It's more of them actually seeing, okay, these are the different areas within the ministry that we have. We have a church ministry, we have a youth ministry, we have a evangelism ministry.
Yeah.
So adding like that digital aspect to it is another atmosphere that we try to put out there as well.
So you're really just putting the church on that mainstream level, so
Correct.
that the same way that anyone that may be scrolling on TikTok or online sees their favorite podcast or sees
Correct.
their favorite news network, they can also see the church right there,
Yes.
right? On that level, and not have to have that cringy moment. Like,
Correct.
ooh, wait, you know what
Correct.
I mean? Love it, love it, love it. That's what Taylor's Enterprises do, everybody. I'm just saying. Now, Drea, as we shifting gears, and I told them at the beginning of the show, you know, we was gonna be long, but we just chopping it up, right? But we could try drive this home now, right? Because I got dinner. But Drea, you have an amazing opportunity. One of the things that I love that is unique about your platform, because Nessa spoke earlier, just a couple minutes ago, about mentorship and what we do with Diplomat Media and what she does as Vanessa. She's taking people under her wings in terms of mentorship, you know, and helping the younger generation along the way. I remember you and I had a conversation at the end of your production. I think you were sick. Something was going on with you, and your girls just took the bull by the horn. They led with a level of excellence. You have teachers that are still in school, in high school, and you know, BFM, seeing that you came from BFM and a lot of what you have been instilled in you as a result of the principles here at BFM, you have definitely been on that journey and on that path of just not bringing in students and having clients and doing classes, but you've been a part of transforming those followers, those students that follow your leadership, to now being leaders and teachers. Why is that? Why was that important for you to be able to develop your students in that way, where as you go through the journey of life, whether it's being sick or having classes of your own, and they taking up the mantle, like not even missing a beat. Like, why is that important for you? Like, why was that whole process of empowering and impacting the next generation important for you?
Wow, that's a loaded question. So I started coming here in 2005. I had never heard of Dr. Miles Monroe. Someone had lent me a book, Dr. Raymond Eneas, actually, on the power and the purpose of a woman. And out of curiosity, I came here. But sitting under the teachings over the years, I mean, my life changed. My life really changed under this ministry. I never even thought or considered a business, but just sitting here, I was just always motivated to act. And one of the things I remember Dr. Miles Monroe saying is basically that, you know, as a leader, my job is to not only train these girls, but if they're not better than I am, then I didn't do a good job. Yeah. And like you're saying, yes, I was sick in December. I had the flu, and I had a show come in, and I'm like, I can't even get up. And that Saturday, I never ever thought about staying home on a Saturday, because that's a very busy dance day. From morning, we run classes from 10 until 4. So I said, oh, just 2 weeks to production, and I just can't even get up. And I called one of the older girls, and I said to her, listen, I'm going to tell you what to do over the phone. And I just sent her a bunch of messages and just said, run the classes. And not only did she run the classes, everything was clean. Like, we went into a stage rehearsal the week after, and I couldn't hold back the tears, because it was like, wow, you know, you got it. And then I have a dancer, she's in actually the Ailey School, Tiana Demerit. And, you know, that is one of our biggest accomplishments, to have a student in New York at the Ailey School. And she comes home, and if she's home, I can sit down, and she teaches all day long. She knows more now than I do, so I'm sitting and I'm learning from her. And she said, Miss J, you know, they're doing this. She knows new things, new theories that they've come up with. And for me, that is what I always wanted, not just for these girls to be good, but to be better than I was. And I see that. So it was important for me to not just have a business, but to fulfill purpose in these children's lives. and then to make sure they find their purpose. So I'm constantly pushing them, and this is the result. So I didn't want to just sit here and get the knowledge. I wanted to do something with that knowledge that I had, because some of them may not ever come in the doors here. So at least I can say I'm passing it on, or I'm fulfilling the Great Commission by going into all the world. So that's it.
Nasa, what would you say would be a few of your most proudest and most accomplished moments over the last 10 plus years of you having Taylor's Enterprises? What have been some of your most memorable and proudest moments as an entrepreneur on this journey?
I would say one of my most proudest moments is when I took BFM out of the age of having overseas persons handle their live streaming and creating live streaming ourselves. Building from the ground up, being able to purchase our own system, the software, seeing what what the cameras can do, of being able to send out different shots to us and implementing lower thirds into the mix, kind of allowing BFM to grow within its own sphere. Because, you know, there's a lot of different, like, businesses in the United States that, you know, a small island like the Bahamas, we think that we can't do it ourselves.
So true.
So I'm the type of person, if I know I can do something, I go ahead and learn it from the ground up, build it, and then implement it.
Excellent.
And that is a testament to itself, because I actually came to this church as a passive person.
Wow.
So where I am now and the growth that I have is a testament within itself for even having a business, to being able to mentor, especially after going through the situation I went through in 2002 with my son passing, to even mentally be here to mentor a lot of the camera persons and bring them into the potential that I know they can have, and kind of turning my pain into advocacy and advocating for a lot of the young people to strive for more is a testament within itself, I would say.
Yeah. And just not to touch fully on it, but just knowing that journey and that experience of the loss of your son and everything that you went through, it took you a minute to come back full circle, like you said, but you came back with a greater sense of not just appreciation, but a greater sense of love and heart to see everyone around you win, right?
Yeah.
Even when it felt like you lost.
Correct.
Even when it felt like you were in a world of what in the world is going on, like why me? You saw the best in everyone that was around you, and you've been able to impact and encourage so many people. What are some contributions you would say that brought you to that point? Because that was a very difficult season. Having to navigate. I know you and we've had conversations, and it was even weird for me, even having to work with you on a day-to-day. I was like, Lord, but you never in a million years displayed, throughout that entire process, displayed or demonstrated a level of weakness. You was able to deliver. You didn't even miss a beat. Yeah. You didn't even miss a beat with our weekly programming, with our uploads, with our posting, and all of the services that you offer. You didn't even miss a beat in the middle of that, through all of that. How, not that you didn't, obviously you never saw in a million dreams, imagine that would happen, but for you, what was that comeback for you? What did you have to do to get yourself back up and say, you know what, there's more to life. I'm going to continue to keep pushing, not just keep pushing for the sake of my family, for the sake of my husband, for the sake of my future, but keep pushing and bring people along with me on this journey?
For me, I wouldn't say I lost it, you know. I think for me, throughout the whole experience, for the audience that don't know, in 2022, I lost my mom in April, and then my son in October. And so that whole year, was a battle back and forth, medical leave for my son. So my advocacy for him and my faith drove everything that I did. So for me, I never lost focus on it because I'm the type of person, when I commit to something, I commit to it wholeheartedly and I continue on that. And because of my faith, there are moments where, just like how this weekend just gone, Jesus sacrificed his life for us, and then he rose again to do it all over again the next year. So for me, knowing where I've come from to where I am now, it drove more of a deeper level of wanting to see young persons succeed. And I guess that's my strive from wanting to be a teacher and the reasoning I wanted to be a teacher in the first place. It all kind of revolves back together, where I have this heart for teaching people. I just love to teach. I want to start classes where I can teach a lot of persons as well. So that's something that I have, I'm working on right now. So for me, the drive was seeing these young persons come and volunteer, not ask for anything in return other than knowledge of understanding how to operate these cameras, how to dance, how to maneuver throughout like the different spheres of digital media, and just grasping knowledge. It motivated me.
Love it, love it, love it. And you've been able to successfully go from being a single team to, a group of people just continue, and you're growing that and continuing to follow your leadership and serve each other, and you get to learn. I know you have someone on your team right now that could run circles around everyone with digital and posting and recap, and Vanessa didn't have to do that for a couple of good weeks, and she sat down over the weekend and she's like, ooh, do I still have it? Like, because you just freely gave it out, right? And so to come back full circle and have to go edit a recap, a TikTok reel was like, woo. She felt that pressure because like
I felt old.
I gotta measure up to the people that I was able to put in place, So that's always rewarding. As we kind of bring this conversation to the home base, Drea, for those persons that may be just like you, some 14, 15, 16 years ago, hearing those messages of purpose, hearing those messages of you can do this, or feeling that, hey, I could do this, but I don't know. You are one of those persons that exemplified an action faith at work. Not only did someone speak a word into you, speak a word over you, you received that and you ran with it through faith. What advice would you give to anyone that may be in that field? And before you do that, that may be passionate, but before you do that, because you are in a field that is not common, right? The reason why I decided that it was necessary to have this conversation today is because these are some areas: media, production, creative arts, fine arts, dance. These are areas that are not attractive to certain generations to say, hey, pursue this, right? And we have more and more young people now more than ever look for validation. They're looking for someone to say, hey, I see you, I believe in you, you can do it, right? More now than ever, because at the end of the day, we have been taken over by the digital space, by the digital world. Everyone is looking at their favorite influencer. Everyone's looking at, they're scrolling, and they have dreams and goals of wanting to be like that person. And they need more than just them saying to themselves they can do it, but community, space, environment, friends, riders. These are people that this generation look for their space, their circle, their group, right, to encourage them. When we were growing up, we didn't have that, right? We basically had, hey, listen, you could do this, go ahead and do it. And we had to fight ourselves. We had to believe it for ourselves and do it. That's what you did. So for everyone out there that's saying, hey, listen, I am passionate about production. I am passionate about media. I am passionate about digital. I am passionate about dance. I'm passionate about Drea, Nessa, as we wrap up. What final words would you give? If you had 60 seconds to change and build up and strengthen the posture of any young person right now that's saying, hey, listen, I want to do this, but I don't know. My mommy tell me I can't do it. My daddy tell me I gotta be a doctor. My auntie tell me if I want to make money, don't be like my daddy and go do that because I need to be a lawyer. What advice would you give them right now?
First things first, hook up to the source. I was never in search of a business. I was in search of purpose. Like I said, I read the book and I wanted to find my purpose. So I would be here, I was sitting, taking notes. Every time the church did the week of the prayer and consecration with Pastor Miles, then I was doing the prayer and consecration, and those were times where God really spoke to me in those intimate times. So I always say to my girls over and over, only what you do for Christ will last. Yeah. It's never too late to get started, but you have to hook up to the source because He alone can guide you into exactly what it is you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be doing, and when it is that you're supposed to be doing it too. So in my 60 seconds, I would say, hook up to the source and search for purpose, not the business. The source will tell you exactly where to go.
All right, Nass, what about you?
In my 60 seconds, I would say nothing is too small of an idea. There are many things that you can do within this world. Growing up, persons want you to become doctors, lawyers. This world has transformed so dramatically from the day and age I grew up. And just talking to the young people, there are so many ideas out there that they have, but they don't have a lot of persons believing in them. What I can tell you is, if there's not a physical person that believes in you, there's God that believes in your vision. Amen. Because He wouldn't have given you that idea to just sit on it. And especially if it keeps you up at night, if it is in your daily thought throughout the days, the weeks. It's a passion and a purpose that He wants you to pursue. So I would suggest that you just take a moment, let Him reveal everything that He wants for you to accomplish within your purpose, and take the leap of faith and go and do it. Because there's nothing too hard for God. Amen. Trust me, nothing too hard for Him.
Mrs. Taylor said that. All right. So as we bring this conversation to a close, hey, let people know how they can get in contact, get connected with Abba Marie's Fine Arts Studios.
You got it. Okay.
Notice I had to put some little dramatics in that just to remember. But hey, let people know how they can get connected with you. We just don't want to talk about your story. We want to make sure you get connects up in here. So tell us how they can connect with you.
You can email us.
Summer coming, so you may be closing for summer, I know. But
Well, summer we travel for training, so we go to New York.
So if anyone want to get in contact with you, how they reach you?
Well, the easiest way would be, of course, by phone, 432-8970, or email amfastudio.bahamas@gmail.com.
That's right. Business inquiries only.
Yes.
I said that.
Megan, come and get your husband.
Hey, Des, let people know how to get in contact with you. Taylor Enterprises, let's go.
So you can contact us via 565-2228. That's 565-2228. Or visit our website, taylors-enterprises.com, or on our social media, Taylors-Enterprises, on all platforms. We look forward to hearing from you.
There you go, Taylor.
That's a whole commercial. Y'all had a whole commercial right there. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, my special guest today, none other than Vanessa and Kino and Spirit. Vanessa and Kino Taylor of Taylor's Enterprises. All your digital media and needs that you need, website development, the whole nine, give them a call. And of course, Andrea, lead instructor, owner, founder, creator of Abba Marie's Fine Art Studios. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for being here. And hey, thank you for tuning in. This is Faith at Work at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Two beautiful people that are taking the leap of faith to start their businesses, to run after their dreams, their goals, and pursue purpose. And guess what? They are all products here at Bahamas Faith Ministries. They still serve here while impacting the world through their businesses and are doing it quite well and quite fabulously. So ladies, congratulations to you guys. Continue to soar, continue to be the best versions of yourself, and know that we support you here. I support you. Y'all know y'all are my riders. I love y'all till the wheels fall off, and we can do this for the next 10 years, and we're looking forward to hearing so much more great stories as you continue to demonstrate faith at work.
Amen.
All right?
Amen.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hey, see you next time for another Wednesday night special.
What an incredible conversation. Tonight's discussion has reminded us that the creative edge is not merely about business success or artistic achievement. It's a powerful testament to living out our faith through innovation, leadership, and heart-driven purpose. A huge thank you to our remarkable guests, Vince McDonald, Vanessa Taylor, and Andrea Johnson. Your stories, insights, and passion for merging creativity with kingdom values have truly inspired us all. To our viewers, thank you for joining us on this journey through the creative landscape of faith. May the stories and lessons shared tonight motivate you to let your creativity be a reflection of your faith in every project and every endeavor. This has been Faith at Work, Kingdom Impact in Professional Life. Until next time, keep creating, keep innovating, and always let your light shine as a testament to His glory. God bless and good night.